wife files for divorce after her newborn is born with Down syndrome, and get this, the husband wants to keep it. This took place in Armenia. A woman had a child, then found out afterwards it had Down syndrome. They told her about this, and she said, I don't want to keep it. Her husband said, we'll go to the graphic right now. She said, according to the husband, she told me if I kept the child, then we would get a divorce. And then the husband said, I looked at this guy, his son with Down syndrome, and I said, he's beautiful, he's perfect, and I'm absolutely keeping him. Well, fast forward to a week later, and she's divorcing her husband. Now, he said he's from New Zealand. In the report that we have from BuzzFeed, it says that in Armenia, it's just they treat Down syndrome very differently. The kids get institutionalized, taken away. So that was an option for her to actually get rid of the child. But the husband said, "There's no way this is going to happen." She files for divorce against him. He's going to relocate to New Zealand, and then he starts a GoFundMe and raises $60,000 for his cause, largely from people who are saying, she can go live her life in a terrible way. You can go back to New Zealand, here's some money, and start over. But yeah, that actually happened.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you read it, and it's like, maybe this is some kind of clickbait. This doesn't actually happen.
Yeah. Well, it would be funny if it didn't happen. They just took a random kid and they're like, look at this story. Okay. I'm keeping him. Are you going to help me? Or are you going to be a monster?
God damn, he is a cute baby. God damn it.
Is.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, no, seriously, if to the best of our knowledge, it is a very much a real story. So this is an interesting thing. It's not about Armenia versus New Zealand, but it is an interesting story about culture. And so, and I'm going to roughly say, it's all very rough, of course, Western culture versus old world culture, right? So now I'm going to put a lot of Asia in that old world culture. I'm going to put a lot of the Middle East in that old world culture, and apparently Armenia is similar. I'm not that familiar with it, but according to the article, it's similar. For a lot of that culture, they're like, Down syndrome, I don't see the point, right? So if they know before it's born, a lot of Asian countries would be like, abortion, no-brainer, it's not even close. And that's why in Asian countries, there is shockingly low percentage of Down syndrome because they will abort, very significantly so. Again, these are all generalizations, okay? But you can look up the numbers too, and you can see very low percentage of Down syndrome. It's not because they're not having Down syndrome kids, it's because those are not coming to term, okay? And then to the point where, even if after they have the kid, a lot of folks are like, well, let the state take care of that. We're not going to raise a Down syndrome kid.
God damn it.
Right. And for Western culture, including New Zealand, we have the reaction of, God damn it. Like, how could you do that? And so I think it's absolutely fascinating that we live on the same planet and we have such different reactions to it.
It's like New World. Everything's special and neat, and you need to value it. Old World, it's like, what's the point? Get rid of it. I've seen this for thousands of years. It's not that great. Get rid of it. I don't know. For me, I'm like, you got to keep the kid. I get it. I mean, I'm totally denying if I'm like, the kid's got Down syndrome. Oh my God, this is terrible for me. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's definitely a part of me that I would be honest with. That's like, I mean, there's a part of me that doesn't want this to be here.
Yeah.
I'd rather not have this problem, but you can't do that.
Yeah.
That's just so wrong to say like, yeah, give it away, no problem. Who wants pizza?
So that's the interesting part. I mean, one of the guys who sent him money said, I have a relative who has Down syndrome, and I think it was his brother, took care of him his whole life, and it was really, really hard. So they're keeping it real. It's not like it's easy, right? And it's not like it's not going to affect your life. It is. But at the same time, our frame of mind is, it's not a choice. He's here. Like, what are you going to do? I mean, that's great. Okay, that's the straw that you drew, and that's that, right? And of course, what invariably happens, and I hope 9 out of 10 cases at least, is that then you realize, oh my God, so this is different, but there's something wonderful about it too. I mean, there's a great innocence, there's a great emotional connection, etc. But in a lot of the old world, they're like, yeah, I'm going to have other kids.
Well, see, I think it's not only a difference between, Western and old world culture, New World versus old, but also a culture of services, here in the United States, in the Western countries, we tend to have a pretty well-established medical system, and we have services for people who are disabled or have other issues. So they don't have that, and especially in the Eastern European countries. I mean, these people have gone through a hell of a time in the last several decades. So they don't really have the stuff to rely on. So it's not surprising to me that in their culture, they basically are allowed to abandon their kids. They don't necessarily put them out to die, but they do put them in a home that the state takes care of it, and that's what their culture says to do. So, when there's no services, what do you do?
So it's not just lack of services, it's also very, very limited resources. Armenia is very poor at this point, right? So they think, I'm going to have other kids, and I'm going to, whatever little resources I have, I'm going to dedicate to those kids, right? Doesn't make it any better, don't get me wrong, right? We're just explaining what the frame of mind is.
Right.
Yeah, for me, I'm holding out hope that this woman's just crappy.
You're hoping it's not the culture.
I hope she's just a really crappy person. That's a weird thing to come away with. Man, I hope she sucks. It's a woman who was like, get rid of the Down syndrome kid.
But in evolution, that's why when I saw a picture of that guy holding that kid, evolution makes kids cute on purpose. So you'll want to take care of them, right?
Yep.
So that you want to, and their eyes are way bigger than the red. Your eyes are, you well know this, right?
Yeah.
Way bigger than the baby's head. And anyway, so things that make kids cute, they're intensified when they're babies. So that's why you want to take care of them. The idea of you want to have a Downs baby and take care of him all your life, no. And then you see the kid, you're like, oh, I'll take care of that kid. Because he's cute. Like, I'll take care of him.
Yeah.
How weird would it be if evolution made babies look delicious?
Well, they do for lions.
Yeah.